Stop that thieving git! He's just nicked me shooter!
Oh, seriously?
Hey you guys, 6plus Stevo here with the next in our clan culture reveal videos. And today on the Warhammer community site they have revealed information regarding the Deathskullz. So a very cool clan this. Let's get straight into what their clan culture is. So it's called Lucky Blue Git. All orcs believe blue to be a lucky colour, but the notoriously superstitious Deathskullz are fervent in their belief. The clan's members are in the habit of daubing themselves liberally with blue war paint before every battle, making sure to mark their vehicles with the colour too. Of course, this habit doubles as a great way of rapidly covering up any marks of previous ownership on wagons, war gear and other loot the light-fingered Deathskullz have acquired from their fellow orcs. Models with this culture have a 6+ invulnerable save. In addition, you can re-roll a single hit roll, a single wound roll and a single damage roll for each unit with this culture each time it shoots or fights. In addition, infantry units with this culture gain the "This is ours" Zog Off ability, even if they do not have the troops battlefield roll. So there's quite a bit to cover in this. At first glance, it seems quite similar to the Snakebites one, where they get the 6+ ignore wounds, which in itself is, in my opinion, a little bit better than an invulnerable save. Like I said, because they work against mortal wounds as well. Invulnerable saves don't do that, but they do protect you against armor penetration. So a lot of the time, if your boys wouldn't be getting a save because of AP1 weapons or AP2 or whatever, 6+ invuln save means you're going to be getting those 6+ saves most of the time. So that's really cool, but it goes further than that. So as well as having the 6+ invulnerable save, they get a single hit, single reroll to hit. Let's read that again. You can re-roll a single hit roll, a single wound roll and a single damage roll for each unit with this culture. So it doesn't say or, it says and. So when you're shooting, you can roll to hit all your dice, you can re-roll one of those, and then when you come around to rolling to wound, again you can re-roll one of those. It doesn't sound like much, but those odd little re-rolls here and there, especially at specific times with specific weapons, because you can choose what you re-roll. So for example, let's say you've got a big mob of boys and one of them's got a rocket launcher, and you've got your different coloured dice for your rocket. Now that thing's going to miss because the rockets always miss. But with the Deathskullz, you can re-roll that. It effectively makes your rocket launcher boy in a mob of boys the same as a tank buster. So yeah, that's just one example. There's and that's just every model with this culture. So you're going to get this with all your war bosses and your stuff and your big mechs who've got their custom mega blasters. And so yeah, very, very cool actually. And the "This is ours" Zog Off ability basically means that any infantry will have the sort of objective secured, basically is what it is. It's their version of that. So they're going to be much better at contesting and taking objectives. So basically they get the perk of that they sort of count as troops. A lot of the codexes now, a lot of their troops choices have this sort of objective secured, where when they're in range of an objective and another unit is, because they've got that ability, it's not contested, they have it because they're troops and they have that ability. So with yeah, so for objective driven games, I think Deathskullz are going to be very, very good. And 6+ invuln saves across your entire army is really, really good. I mean, this is going to spread to your killer cans and your death dreads and stuff. Whether or not they're within range of a custom force field or not, because that's usually what you've got to do. You kind of got to babysit your vehicles with custom force fields around them to give them that extra bit of survivability. But Deathskullz, all their stuff's getting 6+ invulns all the way. And again, 6+s, most of the time they're going to fail, but you're making a lot of saves, you're going to get a few, and it's just going to give your boys that extra little edge, making them a little bit more survivable, and with plenty of rerolls. So yeah, Deathskullz are, and like it says in the article, they're sort of a good all-round force. It covers quite a lot of bases there, and it gives them quite a lot of buffs. So I'm liking that. The article then goes on to talk about a Deathskullz specific stratagem. For 2 command points, it's called Wreckers. Deathskullz can take apart an enemy vehicle ready for looting before its bewildered crew have even stopped fighting back. Use this stratagem at the start of any phase. Select a Deathskullz unit from your army. You can re-roll wound rolls for attacks made by that unit that target enemy vehicles until the end of the phase. Very nice. Very, very nice. And in particular, the article covers how this stratagem will be really nice to use with Tankbustas. I love my Tankbustas, and if this wasn't Deathskullz exclusive, I would definitely be using this stratagem, because for 2 command points your Tankbustas will be re-rolling all their hits against a vehicle and then re-rolling all their wounds against it as well. It's going to make them incredibly efficient tank hunters. But this could be used with, again, any type of unit you can think of. So all sorts of things, like, you know, some of these new vehicles are out, they've got some really nice tank hunting weapons. Yeah, it's going to be quite good. I think things like flash gits and stuff would benefit from this quite nicely as well. Yeah, very nice. We then go on to see another stratagem that also talks about how this could be used with Tankbustas. This one, however, is not exclusive to the Deathskullz, which I'm really chuffed about, because this is another stratagem that I think I will be using quite regularly, and it's called Extra Stick Bombs. Costs 1 command point. Orcs are not subtle creatures, and if they get their hands on a surplus of explosives, they are less likely to stockpile them than they are to simply pull out all of the pins at once and get lobbing. Very true. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select an Orc infantry unit from your army. Up to 10 models in that unit can fire a grenade weapon in that phase instead of only 1. Now, on the surface, doesn't sound very exciting, because stick bombs aren't great. They're okay. Occasionally you can toss one in, you know, but I guess 10 stick bombs is a bit better. But again, as the article goes into, this is designed to be used with Tankbustas, with those Tankbuster bombs, which are grenade type weapons. And 10 Tankbuster bombs, let me tell you, is going to be pretty damn nasty. I really like the sound of this, because your Tankbusters can get in close, and yeah, I think sort of Tankbusters, guys kitted out with like tank hammers and stuff, and a bit more close combat, and tank hunting pistols, the rocket pistols, and you've got all the Tankbuster bombs. Get them in nice and close, lob them Tankbuster bombs in, and then go in and finish them off. If there's anything left after they've been hit with 10 Tankbuster bombs, that is. It sounds really awesome. Then this article, obviously covering Deathskullz, it would be foolish not to cover Looters. So it does talk about Looters and a really cool stratagem that isn't specific to them, but it does have certain bonuses if you use it with them. Again, this is not Deathskull exclusive, this is for any faction, which struck me as a little strange actually. This is much more the stratagem I would have associated purely with Deathskullz, but let's have a look. It's called Loot It, for 1 command point. After a spot of mid-battle larceny, these orcs have become so laden down with loot that it actually acts as ablative armour. Use this stratagem when a vehicle unit is destroyed within 3 inches of an orc infantry unit from your army. Improve the save characteristic of that infantry unit by 1. A unit can only be affected by this stratagem once per battle, and once affected cannot be selected for the mob up stratagem. If this stratagem is used on Looters unit from your army, roll a d6, and on a 4+, the command point spent to use this stratagem is immediately refunded. So this is really cool on so many different ways, because first off, Looters have a 50-50 chance of getting this for free, because on a 4+, they get the command point back. But it doesn't have to just be used with Looters. This can be used with, let's say, Ard Boys. So you've paid your command points, you've upgraded a mob of boys to Ard Boys. They're within 3 inches of a vehicle that gets destroyed. you use this stratagem, and now you've got proper hard boys, because you've gone from your 5+ save up to a 4+ save. It's very, very cool. It's only one command point, and probably the best thing about this is this works with your own vehicles as well. They will loot anything. They'll loot their own vehicles, the enemy vehicles, whatever. So at first read, when you read this, you think, well, yeah, but I've got to get right up to enemy vehicles. That's going to be very situational. At the beginning of the game, if you're coming up against an army that's got some good shooting and tank hunting abilities, they take out a couple of your tanks, they're feeling quite smug about it. Well, the joke's on them now, because they've just buffed a unit of your boys or looters or whatever, increase their saves. So very nice, and for one command point, or maybe not if you do it with looters. Really cool. But it's really strange. Like I said, that is much more Deathskull-y than the Wreckers one that is Deathskullz exclusive. So a little strange choice there, I think. But obviously it's primarily aimed at looters, but I like the way that any unit can use that. It's quite cool. And yeah, it's just this has been a really cool article, actually. Even though I'm not a Deathskull player, I like what I see in here, and there's a lot of stuff in here that will, no matter what clan you play, there's some good stuff in here. I am a particular fan of the extra stick bombs strategy. That is very, very cool, and I'm sure the loot it strategy will come in handy at times as well. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Are you Deathskullz players happy with this? I'll be interested to hear your views on it. And make sure you tune in tomorrow, guys, because I shall be covering those sneaky gits, the blood axes. This is 6+ Stevo, signing out.